Hi, my name is Zaid Ismail from IH Parts America, and we're starting a new build series on this channel talking about our 1980 International Harvester Scout Terra. And the preface of this series is to explain what to look for in a Scout, what to upgrade, what to fix, and really what you should be spending your money on before you spend your money on other things you probably shouldn't be spending money on otherwise. And this is just a great example of a stock Scout that we've preserved to keep it in most stock condition, and we've driven it throughout the years in this exact condition. This specific Terra has an SD33T turbo diesel backed by a T19 and a Scout Dana 300 with obviously a disc brake front 44 and a rear 44. This thing is basically completely stock. Couple modifications throughout the years that I've done are a CPT 5-inch shackle kit in the front. Didn't even bother painting it, just slapping on there some new spring bushings. Went through the engine, did some maintenance to the top end, did some work to the rear axle, rebuilt the rear axle, some cheap Chinese tires, found some original turbine 1980 wheels, and kind of just spruced it up. I kind of brought this thing back from being on the farm and being kind of abused to really just back to almost stock condition and trying just to find all the stock pieces to put it back to stock. And we'll be taking this Scout on a drive, and we'll be showing how it performs in its stock state, how a Scout should perform in its stock state, what clunks you hear, and what things to kind of look out for. So we're going to kind of pop the hood open on this thing, and I'll show you the inside of this and kind of explain to you what's been done and what to look for. And we'll kind of move around the whole vehicle here. So under the hood here is the factory Nissan turbo diesel engine. And in 1980, most all 1980 Scouts were turbo diesel option, and that's just because International had a bunch of them in stock and they had no other way of getting rid of them besides putting them in Scouts. Some people love the turbo diesel. It's just as heavy as an IH 304, 345, makes way less horsepower, but makes cool turbo noises and gets 20 miles to the gallon. So to each their own. I wanted to preserve this engine and kind of just keep it as healthy in stock as we possibly could. So throughout the years, all I've really done to this thing was I threw a brand new master cylinder on it. Obviously, this was years ago. Now it's rusty. I threw an O-ring on the power steering pump hose because it blew out. Couple radiator hoses, fuel filter, some new lines, couple wires. I threw a EGT gauge in this thing just to watch the turbo temperatures. I put a downpipe on it so it's straight piped. That's really all I've done to the inside of this engine bay. And stuff to really look out for when you buy a Scout are honestly, does the engine run? And how are the engine mounts? How are the steering linkages? How's the brake booster? All that stuff. And we'll touch on that kind of later down the road when we drive this thing and kind of show you how a stock Scout should perform. Let's move on to the suspension here and I'll show you all about that. Obviously, we still have the factory front anti-sway bar, and this bar connects from each shackle. In factory, these shackles would have been a lot more dinkier, a lot chintzier. They're about a 3-inch shackle. These are a CPT 5-inch shackles, and really you want to retain this anti-sway bar. It really helps body roll. A lot of people have questions on why you should do reverse shackle, why should you keep forward shackle. Really, the only advantage of keeping forward shackle, in my opinion, was this design only for hard cornering. Because I've noticed with forward shackle and super harsh cornering, going way too fast around corners, it really keeps the front end planted, level, versus reverse shackle will kind of like dive the body in just a little bit more than usual. So really, if you were to ask me what's my one opinion on forward shackle, that'd be my only positive of forward shackle. Otherwise, they ride like a boat. If you've ever been in the water, on a boat, hitting waves, it's the same feeling with forward shackle. Furthermore, wait for the perfect opportunity to upgrade this, which is now, because now the front frame mounts are cracking, the rear frame mounts are cracking, and I'll kind of explain why that cracks here. So with forward shackle, obviously the spring only moves forwards. When you hit a bump, all that force is really being transferred down this spring right here to the frame. And these leaf spring brackets love to rip off the frame. That's just because of the nature of the beast with forward shackle. It wants to move forward. You hit a bump going this way, it wants to move everything back. It's not going to flex, on paper as it should. So what happens is, first, you either bend the main leaf on the factory leaf spring. I've seen a lot of them like that. The center pin on the leaf spring is broken, or loose, or the U-bolts are loose just because of impacts throughout the years, or this leaf spring hanger is physically blown off the frame. And when you move on to the cab mount here, the cab mount underneath your foot, basically under the floor, you always find it like at least 50% of the time it's cracked around that cab mount, around the frame. And really when you turn and you steer and you hear a cling, clang, bang, it's probably the frame cracked. Just something to kind of look out for if you really want to keep forward shackle. You have to understand that it's just really by design is not going to ride that well compared to reverse shackle. So besides this point here, this is a major issue with Scouts. They're always cracked here. The steering box is always loose on the frame. They're usually cracked around the steering box. So there's a lot of things to look for in a Scout before I would even consider driving it, to be honest. And those are really the big main key things. Is this front suspension's usually just clapped out, or there's too much negative caster. And we're not really going to be going over upgrades in this video quite yet. If you want, you could paste your comments in the bottom of this video and we can kind of see what you guys are really interested in seeing done to this Terra. We're not going to be going sky high. We're not lifting this thing. We're going to keep it stock and looking stock, but we're just going to enhance the drivability of this thing and just make it a lot better driver and kind of explain to you a lot of the problems with Scouts and how to really fix it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fire this thing up and we're going to go take it down the road and kind of show you what a stock Scout kind of handles like, and we'll come back here and I'll kind of show you some of the parts we have laid out for this thing that I do plan on upgrading and showing you guys in the future. All right, so let's go take this thing for a drive here and see how a stock Scout really performs. So I'm one-handing this thing around these corners. I'm sure the cameraman's pretty scared, but this is pretty average driving for me. Really, any Scout that's set up properly should be driving relatively like this. We're hitting these corners, probably going, 45, 50. So there's how much skid you can get in a Scout, really, with factory tires, factory suspension. You really can't corner that hard with these things. It's really not advised. We're driving on this really rough road, getting to this gravel section, and this steering wheel is just wandering, and that's because it really has no caster angle, and it's just wanting to dive. So one thing to look out for, but it's still very, very manageable. And as we get to the gravel portion, that's pretty rough. That'll kind of be where the reverse shackle would kind of shine, because it's going to get pretty rough in here. All right, now we're on the gravel here, and this is when it gets really shaky, forward shackle. So as we go down this road here, kind of show you how shaky things kind of get in here. Going down just this basic washboard road, this thing felt like it was about to fall apart, and that's really where the modifications we're going to be doing in the future are really going to benefit this Scout. And driving down up and down this road a couple times, I'm glad I don't live back here driving this Scout, definitely to town or to work, just because of how rough it is. It wants to buck, the caster's all over the place, and that's really where a stock Scout doesn't shine, is kind of washboardy roads like this. You really have to go really slow or bomb through it and just hope and pray it stays straight. So we're gonna head back to the house and then show you some of the parts we're gonna put on this thing, and we'll kind of wrap it up, and we'll see you in the next one. In that drive, we figured out, how much you can really corner it on corners without it skidding out and almost crashing, or just bumpiness, or like just the visor falling down on your face. I mean, I got a headache, so definitely the bumps have been well registered in my body, and I'm not sure, hopefully the camera registered them as well. But in a nutshell, we're back here at the R&D shop, and it's a perfect time to showcase the reverse shackle kit that we're going to be putting on this Scout. That's going to be one of the first upgrades we do on this rig, is reverse shackle, fixing the frame in the front, and just kind of getting that suspension to have more of an even flow, you know, when we're going over those washboard roads. And we'll do the reverse shackle and we'll fix it up, and we'll do another episode back on that same road, and we'll kind of compare it, you know, kind of a butt to seat, you know, calculation. So it's not going to be very scientific. So, but we'll be honest, and we'll tell you, you know, is it really worth to do the reverse shackle after driving that? And trust me, if I lived back there, I would be regretting driving the Scout every single day. So we appreciate you watching this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.